So my last video that I tried to make was about this knife, Spyderco Pacific Salt. Fantastic knife here. And that video did so poorly in my analytics that I decided to shit can it and try and do this video again. This is my surfing companion. I stuff this up my wetsuit sleeve whenever I'm out there surfing. And do I think I'll ever need it? Probably not. But I've seen dudes tangled in fishing line before. I've seen people hung up with hung up by surfboard leashes, and can I imagine a situation other than getting attacked by a clan of surfing ninjas where I could use this knife? Absolutely. So yeah, I want to talk just really briefly about what I like about this knife. And I'm not really going to talk to the serrations. I did a little modification on those. I added a hole to do a zip tie deployment. I'm not really going to talk to those because those are just kind of personal preference mods. But as a whole, my review applies to a straight edge knife, which is 99 times out of 10 going to be a better edge for an everyday carry knife like this should be. But for my situation, which is my surf companion, this is not an edge I plan on using a lot. It's really an emergency knife edge. So I keep it pretty sharp, and I've just kind of maximized the edge for single cuts, one-time cuts to do absolute maximum cutting potential. And normally I'd be going with the straight edge just for the ease of maintenance, but just for this situation, the zip tie mod is what it is. The serrations are what they are, but I believe the rest of this review is going to apply to the straight edge equally, if not more heavily endorsed. So this is a lot of blade length. It's like a 3 3/4 inch blade length to 3.5 ounces. So it's almost a 1-to-1. But this is a knife that, like, for as light as it is, you get a lot of knife here, and it really just disappears in your pocket like a much smaller knife would normally do. And that's one of the reasons I appreciate it. Now, here's the other side of it. It's the Pacific Salt. I don't know if you can hear. I'm just doing this review in my car right now, but I'm right next to the ocean. I'm literally at the beach. Like, literally at the beach. And this knife I was on that surfboard wearing that wetsuit 15 minutes ago in the ocean with this knife. And I've done that dozens of times, maybe 100 times now that I've surfed with this knife. Here's how much 14C28N steel rusts. I do not rinse it off. This goes from my wetsuit into my pocket. If I did another video earlier on this also super excellent Vosteed Mini Nightshade. Totally a great knife. You should totally get one. And when I was doing that, I still had like water, like ocean water inside of the blade. I don't know if it's still wet in there, but anyways, the only things that I changed on this knife was I mildly radiused the inner blade gap. Some people like it when it's a hard edge. They feel like it gives them a little bit more grip. To me, it's just uncomfortable, so I slightly radiused that. I put a deep carry pocket clip on it. The regular pocket clip is titanium, but it carries kind of high. And this very large lanyard is only because I use it for surfing, and as it sits in my sleeve here, I like to have the lanyard kind of sticking up so that the knife is really clears my wrist, and I can just kind of reach up, imagining my sweater here is the wetsuit. It kind of just rides like that inside the wetsuit. And then I pull it out, and then there's my knife. And have I even come close to needing it so far in my hundreds of times that I've used it? Nope. But it's interesting to look at this not 14C28N, Lc200n steel. I really hope I haven't been saying 14C28N this whole review. This is 14C28N. It was the knife I was previously reviewing. This is Lc200n, and it don't rust. It's fantastic. Now I'm going to talk. It's the blade's thin, so you're going to have good cutting geometry. It holds an edge, fantastic. Because this is the Pacific Salt, it's an Endura basically without steel liners, which makes this maximum lightness that you can get for that design of knife. One thing I really have appreciated about the handle of this knife is that I can grab it choked up far back, very quickly with my fingers kind of on the ridges of where the finger grooves are supposed to be. And anywhere I grab this knife, my hand's cool with it. Like, it doesn't matter if I don't, get perfectly lined up with these finger grooves. They feel great when I am, but anywhere, it's good. It's good however I'm holding it. Jimping is fantastic. The thumb ramp, the natural thumb ramp from the Spidey hole, just, your hand locks in. The texturing, what do they call this, volcano or whatever, it's fantastic. This is an MXG gear clip. I totally recommend it. It's fantastic. I used the screws, the OEM screws from Spyderco. I like the little detent on the lock bar. This is a really, aside from just the slight radiusing of the blade gap and the deep carry clip, this is a perfect knife. And with the straight edge, I'm sure it would be just as fantastic. I like to carry it a lot. I ended up everyday carrying this knife a lot more than I expected, just because of how light and comfortable it is to carry. I've been really stoked on it. The only thing I'll say is that even in the camera, this green is showing up as a lot brighter green than it really is, and I noticed that immediately from the review. In person, it's actually kind of got a more flat color to it, but I'm doing this in like perfect sunlight right now, so it's hard to say why it looks so good on camera, but it's the color is a little bit more subdued. It's not quite as radioactive as it looks on camera, but I'm good with it, man. I dig this knife so much, and I totally recommend it to anyone looking for a good everyday carry knife that has a lot of blade to handle ratio, and it's going to be as lightweight as possible. Obviously, it's not a triad lock. You're not going to go batoning wood with it. There's some insight on how well BD1 steel does. That stuff rusts just sitting in my bag. By sitting in my bag by the beach often enough, that's how much that rusts. And this goes in the ocean. But it's not a triad lock. It's not massive, powerful lock. But this is good lock. This will hold. It's this knife. The blade is as strong as the handle. The lock is as strong as both. It's all good. Totally go for it. Make it one of your favorite everyday carries. You won't regret it. And I'm going to call this at under 10 minutes. That's my goal, is to do these reviews under 10 minutes. Take it easy, y'all. Have a great day.